Welcome to Guitars and Bacon. My name is John. Today I want to share you 5 tips I learned on my home recording journey. Now, before I get started, if you want to talk about music, gear, recording, or want to see me write songs live, head on over to my live stream. I stream on Twitch every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5 a.m. EST. That's 5 p.m. Philippine time. So I'm throwing in 5 tips because firstly, YouTube loves lists. And I figure this might be beneficial for those who are actually starting out in their own home recording journey. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you'd like to make any suggestions or other tips that you've learned from your own home recording journey. Now, I've been recording my own stuff for a good couple of years now, and I've learned a couple of lessons along the way, so I want to share them out to you. Hopefully you guys can find them beneficial and be able to put them into your own practice. Number 1, create project templates in your DAW. It's not cool when inspiration hits you with a great sounding song idea and you end up having to waste time just to set up your project to record it. Many awesome ideas tend to get lost because you weren't able to lay it down really quickly. If you're someone who takes in clients and does this professionally, this is even more crucial. They're probably paying you by the hour and they're not going to be happy if you're wasting their time having to type up the names of the tracks while they're waiting on the couch. Create a project template of all the tracks that you usually use and save 2 copies. Have all of your usual plugins all laid down and ready to go. If you use VSTs, make sure that the drum VST is already loaded up on the drum tracks. Now, every time you need to start a new session, just open up a project template, click Save As, and then rename the project to the new one. And then you're good to go. This is also very important for musicians that does their own recording because you don't really want to waste time having to rename tracks and set up your DAW instead of having just laid down all of your songs pretty much on the fly. You want the least amount of hassle so you can record your songs before they disappear into the void. Number 2, tune your instrument. Every single take. You think just because you have an expensive guitar that it won't go out of tune? Well, you're in for a surprise. Well, unless you've got an Evertune bridge, I highly doubt your guitar is going to stay in tune when you're pouring all of your soul and passion while you're playing your instrument. Wait, you aren't pouring your heart and soul while playing your instrument? Shame. Shame, shame. It's ridiculously bad when you've just finished an amazing solo and then you just find out that your guitar was actually out of tune the whole time. So remember, always check your tuning before you start your take. Number 3, change your guitar strings before your recording session. A guitar and the guitarist sound their best when using new strings. Rusty strings tend to sound dull when being recorded, so you don't really want that in your absolutely amazing record. Remember, your sound is actually made through your metal strings and your pickups. So any rust that's blocking that sound wave from getting through your pickups is a bad factor. Plus, I think it's general consensus for guitar players that they play much better and more excitedly when you have new strings on your guitar, right? If you're just doing scratch tracks at home, then that's fine. You can use your old strings, but if you're tracking an important album for your career, change your strings, man. Number 4, bring fresh batteries for your active pickups. Just like being out of tune, this is something that's preventable if you actually prepare beforehand. So before you start your recording session, make sure you've replaced the 9-volt battery inside your active pickups because sometimes they go out when you least expect them to, and you don't really want to redo a take that you really poured your heart and soul to because your battery died. Not cool, man. Number 5, Mix in mono. Your master fader in your DAW has a very important button, and that's the mono button. What it does is it bypasses all of the panning that you've made for each of your tracks and collapses all of them in right up the middle. And this is the true test of a good mix. If you can mix your song in mono and each of the instruments actually are very clearly audible, then you're doing great. You'd be surprised when you click mono that most of the time your instruments are actually pretty muddy. Sometimes the guitars would get buried, sometimes the bass would get buried. So check it out in mono first before exporting it out to the world. Most of the time, people neglect to remember that each of the instruments should have their own place to sit sonically in your song. And this is most apparent when everything is actually mixed in mono. This is a good place where you can make your EQ adjustments, compression adjustments, or even automation just to make sure that each of the instruments stand out. After making your adjustments, hit that stereo button again. You'll start to hear the difference, and I'm sure you'll be surprised. And that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to share your own tips, leave them down below in the comments. Hit like if you like the video, click that subscribe button and hit that bell notification icon to be one of the first people to see new content once it's out. And one more reminder, if you want to talk about music, gear, recording, feel free to drop in on my live stream. I stream on Twitch every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 5 a.m. EST. That's 5 p.m. Philippine time. Now the video's ended, go and have fun recording. Cheers!